truly believe in the magic.
Hey, Magic fans, and welcome to Penny for Your Thoughts, the podcast of the Orlando Magic UK. This is episode number 79, and as always, joined by the Welsh Valleys wizard, Geraint Jones. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I tell you what, we didn't even get to talk about the football last week, about the World Cup potential group, did we? I know, right. Exciting, isn't it?
It's going to be very exciting. England, Scotland, and America.
Very good, very good. I'm sure Angus and the other boys.
Angus and Barry will want me to be supporting Team Scotland, mate. And I've got relatives who are Scottish as well. And
it's just going to be funny.
It'll be all right.
And it's going to be funny to see how many other teams Geraint's going to be wearing this year.
How many other buying other shirts?
How many other nationalities are you going to claim this year? Hey?
Yeah, as long as the US and Wales qualify from that group, I'm happy. You can have third. There you go.
Mate, that playoff potential between yourself and Scotland it's going to be an exciting game if that's the way it goes. It'll be a very, very exciting game. Real interesting. So, Mikey, how are you, mate?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's the end of the season. We're all pleased it's all over.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah. Just
what, did you fancy another 82 games of this season?
Not particularly, I'll be honest with you.
Another 82 games of development?
Oh, mate. I mean, yeah. What can you say to that? No, it's done. It's dusted. We can put it behind us. We've got the lottery and the draft to look forward to. We've got a long summer to get our asses in shape, ready for our holiday in October when we're all over for next season. Geraint especially.
The daily press-ups and all that sort of thing.
No, you're right.
Geraint, do you know what a press-up is?
No. You'll have to explain to me.
Hey, we've got to look good when you're in Typhoon Lagoon. Beach ready, mate.
Yeah,
will you have a mate? No, come on. I'm imagining that you're a pair of Welsh flag speedos.
I was just going to say that.
Welsh flag budgie smugglers.
I might do that for a laugh. No, yeah.
The old banana hammock, eh?
I can see you stood there giving it all that at the side of the water, putting out the vibe.
I'll tell you what. If Scotland beat Wales, Gio will have a forfeit, shouldn't he? Should wear a Scottish pair. Eh?
No.
In fact, hang on.
George's Cross.
Oh yeah, but let's be honest. Nobody really needs to see that, do they? Let's be honest.
Oh no,
sorry, G.
Oh, I feel like we're bullying you here, mate.
Yeah, a little bit. It's all right. I can take it.
He's quiet. He's normally a bit faster with his responses. He's not.
Has it been a long day, pal?
It has been a long day. It's been a long season, like Mikey said. But yeah, happy to get a W last night. So I'm sure we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we get into it then? Okay, as always, we'll do a quick roundup of the news and a weekly recap. So, first of all, Magic signed Devon Kennedy to an undisclosed contract on, was it Sunday night? I think it was Sunday night we signed him, wasn't it? Saturday night, wasn't it? Saturday. Good to see the guy get an opportunity. I think his play certainly merited being given a contract after his 10-day ran out. Hopefully we see him have an impact with his three-point shooting during next season. Certainly helps space the floor for us. G, happy with that? Happy with Quinn?
Yeah, I like what the organisation's done there, and they've rewarded him for his hard work and dedication to getting back, on the floor, and to get back on the floor that the injury occurred as well. And he's been killing it for Lakeland. So very happy to see Devin get an opportunity. And I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, I'd like him to get that two-way. I know it's a bit early, but I think he's deserving of at least a two-way deal next year with us. Yeah. So fingers crossed that does happen.
at least a two-way, absolutely. And now, before we go any further, I want to do a shout-out to one of our followers, Andrew Hornsby. He messaged our group the other day, didn't he, on via the Facebook Messenger, say, I know it's been a long season, not the best season for the Magic, but he wanted to tell us that on his NBA 2K22, he's won as the Magic all 82 games and is in the playoffs. So a bit of something that we've actually had good news, and let's see if we can emulate that next season. G, are you still playing 2K?
I am still playing 2K, but my game mode, I'm actually playing the My Team element of it, just trying to rack up the Magic players from the past. You know, I'm a stickler for a lot of the 90s players, Nick, Penny, Shaq, T-Mac in the noughties. So I've been trying to better my team for, it's like the ultimate team in FIFA. So you basically pick your favorite players. So I need to get back to playing, the franchise mode like Andrew has been, and I'll see how I get on. But I don't think I've got time for 82 games. I might be playing a shortened version, I think.
Right, I was in 82 games, 82 wins. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I am too old for computer games now. There's far too much to remember. They're far too complicated. I was fine with the old Sonic the Hedgehogs and stuff like that, where it was just X, Y, and Z,
Pac-Man,
1, 2, and 3, and all those sorts of things. Enough, I could do them.
Tetris,
but now it's like so much. It's too much
Snake.
to remember. Oh, mate, yeah, absolutely. I was actually your generation of Space Invaders, Asteroids, and Pac-Man. That was where I was. That's where.
I'm surprised they even have computer games when you were young.
Listen. Although I'm not going to lie, we did. I was around for the first ones coming in, and the old bing, bing, bing. That sort of table football job. Yeah, that was my first experiences, and I'm not going to lie. But,
The good old days, Paul.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. You're no longer playing, are you, Mikey?
No. I've actually got my Xbox up for sale. If anybody wants a cheap Xbox for 130 quid.
Thought I'd give you the opportunity to plug it there, mate.
Genuinely, it's just been sat there for over a year, just sat there gathering dust. I was like, I may as well get rid of it and help pay for a ticket in October, won't it?
Absolutely, pal. Absolutely. So let's get back to the games. We played New York this week on Sunday. Loss of 118 to 88. Poor shooting night. We'll move on. Then we had Cleveland Cavaliers visitors on Wednesday. 115 to 120 win. 8 Orlando players made double-figure scoring. It was a really solid team performance. Enjoyed watching that one. I thought it was an entertaining game to watch. Then we travelled up. You know what, mate?
I had the meltdown. Moving on.
I don't know what you're referring to. I really don't know what you're referring to.
Moving on.
I think there was somebody who didn't enjoy the result, felt that we weren't doing things right. But hey, this is what it's all about, isn't it? Difference of opinions. Everybody can have their own views of things. There's no right or wrong answer. But,
She was kicking
I was
right
happy
off.
I was happy to see us win. I enjoyed the win. I think you should celebrate the wins when we get them, regardless. I still think there's value to those games. We've discussed this many a time, haven't we? Then we went up to Charlotte and came away with our backsides being handed to us, really. 101 to 128. Absences, fouls, turnovers, they really did for us. It wasn't a great one, but I imagine that Lewis was very happy of our guest from last week at that result. Did he message you afterwards?
No, he hasn't gloated. So fair play.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Now you wouldn't have been the same way, would you? Let's be fair.
No,
you'd have been straight
not.
off,
No.
keyboard worrying.
Yeah, trolling.
Trolling?
And we finished.
Not even trolling.
I can't believe that, you mate. Can't believe that of you. And then we finished the season last night with a 111-125 win over the state and conference and division rivals, the number 1 seed, the Miami Heat, which I think we all rather enjoyed, regardless of whether it was effectively 2 G League teams playing one another. Markelle Fultz got his career high in assists with 15 in the game. That's where the value comes for me. Players getting the opportunity to develop themselves again. And the Magic matched franchise record of 3-pointers made in a game by hitting 23. Mikey, did you enjoy watching, or were you just highlights?
No, I genuinely watched
He
the whole
did watch
game.
it.
And
I spoke to him, and he was
through.
watching it earlier. I spoke to him.
And genuinely earlier, I was listening to Jonathan and Luke on the Sixth Man Show before we jumped on recording, and they were talking about how we should never actually really bring up again that we tied the franchise record, because it was the 2009 team that went to the finals that set this record. And if anybody in the next 10 years looks back and they're like, oh, I wonder what the record was back then, and you look at the two teams, I mean, this team is shocking compared to that. It's just like, just say it that the 2009 team set the record and just be at that. But yeah, it was a good game to watch. But more importantly, we had some UK contingent. Our very own Gary and Connell were there. Paul, who's another UK Magic fan, sent us a message to say he was in the arena as well. So I'm pleased that they all got to see the Magic get a dub and finish the season off on a positive note.
Absolutely, Paul. Absolutely. And then our own news. We are going to host again a virtual draft lottery and draft watch party. Mikey, what can you tell us about that so far?
Nothing at the moment. No, joking.
You told me to say.
I did. So we're going to have an events page on the website orlandomagicuk.com, which I'll be putting up tomorrow with a few details. But basically, the same as last year, we'll be on Zoom live with other UK Magic fans. We'll all be watching the lottery and the draft unfold together when they happen on the 17th of May and the 26th of June, I want to say, roughly.
Around there. It's all on our schedule page on the
exactly.
On the website.
So we'll be signed in. We'll hopefully get some guests on from the Magic to drop in and say hello, and we can fire some questions in. We had Dan Savage at the draft last year. We had various other people.
Dante
Hank made an appearance. Dante. The guys at the Sixth Man Show did their watch party. Harry Buffalo, they jumped on and said hello as well. So if you want to grab a beer, an alcoholic beverage, and join us for the draft lottery, just go to orlandomagicuk.com/events. The details will be on there. I'll put a sign up form on there. Just put your details and email address, and then the day of, I'll send all the links out for Zoom, and we can hopefully watch Magic get the number one pick.
Please support today's episode and visit the official NBA store EU or Fanatics using the official links. The affiliate links in the description on this podcast. Shop the latest NBA gear and Orlando Magic merchandise, including jerseys, shorts, t-shirts, all available with international delivery. Use the discount code MAGICUK10 at the checkout for 10% off your entire order, or use a live discount code that may be on the website because they can be better for you. We're not going to call you for doing that, but please do note some exclusions may apply. By supporting us, it just helps what we do, and you can find all the links on the website also, as well as in the podcast description. Right, we are now joined by this week's guest, very, very passionate Magic fan from Winter Park in Orlando, set up the Magic Facebook group Orlando Magic for Life, and it's now just expanded to Instagram as well. Welcome, David Linck. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you guys for letting me come on the show. I've listened to you guys before. You guys do a great job. And, before I saw that podcast, I never knew how huge you guys of a fan base we have in the UK, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's something that never ceases to surprise us. But, we've got guys who are sitting up at 2-3 in the morning watching the games live.
I would do that too. I would do that too. Wherever I lived. If I lived here, UK, the middle of nowhere, I'm dedicated to my team. Lead the blue.
Good man, that's what we like to hear. Now, David, just out of interest, where did your Magic fandom come from? Obviously, you are a Florida guy, but where did it start? When did it start? And
Oh, I would say when I was little, probably when I was 5, back when we had the team of Horace Grant, Anthony Hardaway, Shaq, was it Dennis 3D, Dennis Scott. Those guys were all some of my favorite players when I was growing up in the beginning, and how good we were in the beginning. We made it to the 95 finals, which I thought we should have won. Just from there. And then Little Penny was, one of my favorite little commercials, and the little guy was, voiced by Chris Rock, was pretty cool. And yeah, I just loved him since I was 5. And I know the pain and the suffering and, the joy of being a Magic fan. It's not easy because, we've been through ups and downs. And once we lost Shaq, I was like, darn it, Shaq. I don't give him that much flack anymore because I watched that 30 for 30 on ESPN. He wanted to stay. It was how young our team was as an organization. They pretty much didn't know what they were doing in the beginning. And then we got Dwight Howard, the number 1 pick, even better than Tracy McGrady, one of my all-time favorite, players. So we've had a lot of good players. So that's why I'm a huge fan. I've been one since I was little, and it's just bleed the blue. I'm a real fan, not one of those bandwagon fans. I hate those type of fans. Those fans are...
Hey, mate, absolutely. Absolutely. How often do you get to the games?
Well, actually, before I went to these last 5 games, when I wanted to go see the Timberwolves play, that was my first game in 12 years, actually. My first game, yeah, I know. First game since the arena opened up in 2010.
Wow. Okay, man.
But yeah, so since then, I've been to 5 games now. But now next year, I'm going to be going to a lot because I'm going to have season tickets for the 22-23 or the 23-24 season, whatever it is. I'll have season tickets for that. So I'll be posting more stuff on my Facebook and my Instagram, which I started yesterday.
That's sweet. Sweet, mate. Mikey.
So carrying on from that then, David, can you tell us a bit more about like some of your Magic favorites? So players, some of your favorite highlights from the team, jerseys. What's up there for you?
One of my all-time favorites would have been the Hart Hustle season when Doc Rivers was our head coach. Where we missed the playoffs by 1 game. It was so hard to see that how hard we played that year. We never gave up. We always played hard. We were the team no one wanted to face because, really we probably shouldn't have been that good that year. In that first year, Doc Rivers was our head coach. But we had Darryl Armstrong. We had, who else was on that team? I can't. It's been so long since that team. I can't even remember who was on that team. I know Darryl Armstrong, Bo Outlaw. Those guys.
Garrity, Ron Mercer.
Yeah, those two. Dude, we should have one game. I don't know what we would have done in the playoffs. I think we could have surprised some teams, got a few games in that first round. And if we would have made it, but that was one of my favorite seasons. And then when we got Tracy McGrady, I loved him. I loved Grant Hill when he was healthy. I wish he would have been healthy for the whole 7 years he was with us. Once he left, he never missed a game for Phoenix, which blows my mind. He missed all the games for us, but he stays healthy after he leaves. That's Orlando's luck, and so. Then we got Dwight Howard, one of my all-time favorites. He was until he threw our organization under the bus when he cried his way out of town because he's a big baby. I was so mad that he won a championship with LA. I wanted us to get it first before him, man. I'm so salty about that. Yeah. And then, I would say one of my coolest memories of being a Magic fan is Doc Rivers wasn't our head coach anymore, but I saw him downtown Winter Park. And I was waiting to go see the Dark Knight, and he was in line to see that movie. And I remember I had just bought a basketball, so I ran back to my car and got him to sign my basketball. Told me he was one of my all-time favorite coaches, and he coached one of the best Magic teams ever in the Heart and Hustle season.
That's awesome.
That's a cool moment, man. That's cool.
Wicked. And what's your favorite jersey there?
All-time favorite is the pinstripes, man. They should go back to those. I don't know why they don't. Those are the classics. The pinstripes should be the only jerseys we wear. I do like this year's City Edition with the orange ones. Part of my season tickets, I got a Franz Wagner 22 jersey of the City Edition. I think it's pretty cool with the colors and how it says, why not us, why not now on the side as its pinstripes. And those ones are pretty cool. So the pinstripes, and the City Edition from this year are pretty cool.
Awesome. So obviously you're a family man and you got to take your son to his first Magic game this past week. How was that experience for you? Tell us about it.
Oh, it was amazing. I always said if I ever have a son or a daughter that I would take them to a Magic game and have them be a Magic fan. So when I was able to get the season tickets, and I got, some tickets from work and he was able to go, it was amazing. We sat up in the top section. I think it was like the 211 area, something like that. And it was amazing. He loved it. And it was just great to be there with him, see the smiles on his face, seeing him saying defense, giving me high fives when we dunked and made threes. And I was telling him how the game works, telling him how it's 4 quarters, 12-minute quarters, and telling him each player and who they were. And just getting him to be a Magic fan was awesome. I can't wait to take him to more games. It's having a kid is like one of the coolest things ever made, in one's life that bring a person to the world and, help them learn new things and be excited for Magic games or basketball or any kind of sport. And it was awesome. And then we were able to go on the floor for the fan of the game. The next game we went as a family. We were able to go do the fan of the game. My ticket lady said, "Do you want to be fan of the game?" Like, heck yeah, I want to be fan of the game. So we were down there. And I forgot what his name is, our hype guy, the DJ guy. I don't forget what his name is, but he does a great job. And we counted it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go Magic. And the guy even named my son's. He introduced all of us, and he even introduced my son's best friend, which is a little stuffed monkey named JoJo. He introduced him to the crowd as well, which that was hilarious.
I definitely feel you about trying to get your kids involved though, because Geraint and me have both got young kids ourselves, and my daughter's 2.5, and this week she's just started to turn around and go, "Magic, that's my team." I was like, "Yeah, it started."
Yeah, man, get started early. They know that it's a true Magic fan.
She's going to bed with the little baby stuff every night.
My son we got him one of those too. The stuff he loved it. Best mascot in the NBA. Usually 100%, every year.
Yeah,
100%. So you just told us about the experience about being the fan of the game. Have you got any other experiences you can think of any cool experience you've had in the past going to Magic games?
I would say not probably at a game. I've been to a few games in my life, and then I would say going to this year's draft party was pretty awesome because I know we were all bummed as Magic fans having some of the 3 best odds of getting the number 1 pick. And we got the 5th pick because, the draft and the basketball gods must hate Orlando for some reason. And we get the 5th pick, and we're all like, oh, the 5th pick. And the basketball gods helped us a little bit. We got, Jalen Suggs, and we all learned that we got him, and the whole crowd. I've never heard the crowd that excited before in a long time when we found out we were getting Jalen Suggs. And then we got Wagner and find out that he's really good. And what I really love is how salty for some reason the Toronto fans are. Like, you took your guy. I love the quotes that I get from our guys at the 6-man show. They're always saying, "Dude, stop, get off our butts, man. You picked your guy. You picked Scotty Barnes at 4. So why are you always giving us a hard time? Oh, look, we got Scotty Barnes." Like, yeah, because you picked him, you idiots. Seriously, we got our guy. You got your guy. Deal with it. We love our guy. You obviously loved your guy because you picked him in 4. Yeah, he's doing better than our guy right now, but I believe our guy in the long run is going to be an amazing player. It might even go above Scotty Barnes.
Yeah. I think there's huge potential with Jalen.
Yeah, huge. I'm there with you on Jalen's potential. He had a few injuries that derailed his right when he was starting to get it, and he, but once he came back from injury, he was killing it.
Yeah. So tell us, in setting up the Facebook group, Magic for Life, what was the motivation there?
I would say the motivation is I don't see too many fan groups or a podcast about our team because no one really, unless you live in Orlando or you guys, no one really talks about the Magic. And, so I wanted a place where more Magic fans can get together and post whatever they want about the Magic, talk about the Magic. And so I created Orlando Magic for Life for that reason, because we need more stuff for the Magic, because we don't get no love from the NBA, we don't get no love from ESPN, we don't get love from anyone unless you're a Magic fan, because we've been bad for so long, and which I don't get, because there's teams who've been just as bad as we are for several years, like the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Pistons. They're all been just as bad as we are, but they get, nationally televised games, and they get, love from ESPN. We don't. So I thought we needed another fan page to go out there, and we're almost up to 800 members. I know a few of you guys, some of you guys are on the page, which I appreciate, and I love using that as well to promote all the podcasts. I listen to your guys' podcast. I listen to the Six Man Show podcast, and I also listen to the Ozone podcast. The three and Locked On Magic, all of them. Y'all do a great job.
No, thank you, and we appreciate what you do on the Facebook group. In promoting us and the Magic themselves. But second part to the question: do you sometimes look through Magic Facebook and just have a little bit of a laugh at some of the takes and the trades that people put together?
Dude, yes, that's some of the things they say on Facebook are hilarious, man. I just don't know where people get some of these trades and some of these scenarios and how some people are like saying that Franz Wagner is not a really good player. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like one of our most consistent players, and he's not the best. In my opinion, he's one of the top 3 rookies, and I'm trying to say he's not. The things they say on Facebook, Twitter, any social media is just I should sit back and laugh at all of it because it's our fans are ridiculous. We want a lot of stuff. We want to be good, but yet we cry all the time. A lot of the fans just cry. I just don't get it. It's just, be happy that our team's playing, that we're building towards something.
I saw one this week.
They really don't know, in my opinion.
I saw one this week that I sent to the guys. I just had to respond. It wasn't on Facebook. It was actually on Twitter this time. But somebody had actually tagged Jalen in to say that he'd let the Magic down. He'd let the city down. We weren't proud of him, and he should just go now. I was like, what?
What? Dude, that guy is killing it for the city, man. That guy is bleeding the blue right now. Especially that game against, what was it? We played the Bulls that one game where he made that dunk and he put his hand across it. Yeah, we're Orlando. That's right. We're Orlando. We're here. Dude, that guy is loving that he got picked by Orlando. I don't think he would want to go anywhere else. He was ecstatic that he dropped the 5 that we were ones who picked him up. He knows that this city will love him just as much as he loves us. So that's what I think.
You can see he's wanting the arena to become a cauldron as well. He's wanting the fan base to get behind the team and be loud.
Yeah, I want our fans to be like that because our fans want to complain that we get no love or no everything, but they don't ever go to the games. Every time I go to a game, I see more fans of the other team. It boggles my mind. And it makes me very angry because like the Knicks game. I thought it was at Madison Square Garden, that Knicks game. It was all Knicks fans. Every time they would dunk, it was cheers like we were at Madison Square Garden. I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now.
How was it last night? How was it last night with the Heat?
Last night there were more fans from the Magic, I believe, last night because it was fan appreciation night. But most of the time, it's more of the other team's fans, which I hate so much. Like, our fans need to come out to the games if they can and represent and show the NBA that we're a city that believes in our team. We're a team that can grow and be a culture of winning and a fan base that is believes in their team. Because right now, that's one of the reasons why I think we don't get anything from anyone because we don't show it.
Fair point.
When we start winning again, it'll change. I mean,
yes, I know. The mid 2000s, it was great.
Exactly. I've been watching. Paul, I know this. Kyle from View from the Cheap Seats on YouTube this week.
Yeah.
He went to the Nets versus the Bucks at the Barclays Center earlier. I think it was last week, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was walking around the Barclays Center, and he said it was just heaving. It was just shoulder to shoulder, full of Nets fans. And he said, "I remember when the Amway Center was like this when Dwight was there." And when we start winning, Magic fans will show out, but we need them to show out now.
they need to show up no matter what. True fans need to show up for when we're winning, when we're losing, when we're rebuilding. That's what fans are for. They're there to support their team no matter what.
Well, that's something we're looking forward to because we're back for. Well, I'll be there for opening night of.
I'll be there for opening night as well. So maybe I'll see you there.
Hey, David, it's a date. It's a date, man. Definitely meet up. Definitely meet up. And Mikey and Garant, they arrive just
The
shortly
week after.
I think about a week after, isn't it?
27.
About a week
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
So it's going to be loud and proud from the UK side of things, bleeding true blue.
Well, hey, I know
That's
you guys are loud and proud, because I see you guys on here all the time, and on your page. Well, I follow the page as well, not just the podcast. You guys' fan page as well. I think I follow it as well.
Good man.
They're
Good
amazing.
Man. But with that season being over, mate, are you still going to be watching the NBA? Are you watching the playoffs?
I'll probably watch a few playoffs. Maybe I'll watch Miami lose because I really don't like that team, and I think they're gonna lose. I think they're gonna lose in the first round. They're a bunch of posers, man. They couldn't even play their last game of the season with their players, man, because they were scared. They were scared they were gonna lose to us with our players. If they would have played their starters and we would have beaten them, they would have never heard the end of it. That's what it was. They were scared. Jimmy Butler didn't want none of us, man. He was like, "Oh no, I don't want that team. We lose to them, I'll never hear that from everybody."
Fake tough guy. Fake tough guy, man. I know you think that, don't you, G? You're not a fan, are you?
Oh yeah, no. Him, Lowry,
Not a fan.
No, man. Lowry, especially because all that guy does is, he's a dirty player. He'll knock you out, man, and then injure you like he did AG. Last year in the when we went 2 years ago in the playoffs.
Yeah,
in the bubble.
In the bubble. Yeah, in the
that
bubble.
was ridiculous, man.
Who are you hoping wins? Who would you like to win? Is there anybody?
I don't know. It's a toss-up. There's a lot of good teams this year. I think maybe the Bucks could maybe get back there. Let's see. I don't know, man. Teams this year are so tight, especially in the West. It's a tough one to choose who's going to win. I have no idea. I just know that teams are going to be in there. They're going to play hard. The one team I'm pretty laughable about that they're probably not going to make even the playing game is LeBron and the Lakers, man. What a bunch of jokes. The Los Angeles geriatrics.
We've been celebrating it. We've been celebrating the fact that they've just nosedived, loving it.
Yeah, when I saw they put that team together and had all those old farts on their team, they should rename their team the Los Angeles Geriatrics. That's seriously, it was a bunch of old timers who were past their prime.
I don't think any of us actually felt that it was going to be a really successful recipe.
No, Westbrook was terrible. Westbrook, yes, he's a good player, but it was a terrible fit for that team. All he is a stat stuffer. He's never going to win a championship unless he, stops trying to get his stats. That's all he wants is his stats. Mr. Triple Double.
According to things, our former coach Frank Vogel's took the fall for it all today, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's because they had
that on his way out.
They played in the bubble, and that was like a cakewalk. All right, that's how they won that championship. The bubble was super easy to play in.
So, G, I'm going to ask you, mate. Who are you going for? Who do you want to win out of the teams that are left?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to echo what David said, and I'm so glad the Los Angeles Lakers are out. I also want to add that their organization is totally classless in what they did to Frank Vogel. In the Adrian Wojnarowski mentioned yesterday that he'd lost his job.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and that's since come out today that he has lost his job. So, classy organization there in Los Angeles they run. So
it's not his fault that they. Sorry to interrupt. That wasn't his fault that they lost. They're just a terrible put together team by their management.
Yeah, that's the GM. So I just want to get that in there because my liking of the Los Angeles Lakers is very well known. Hating of them, I meant. Anyway, so I would like Denver to come out of the West. I don't know. I just kind of like the way they play. I'd like Aaron Gordon to support Jokic, and hopefully, I don't know if they're going to get the other two guys, Porter back, and what's the other one, Jamal Murray. I don't know if they're going to be back, but I'd like Denver to come out of the West, and then for the East, I don't really like many of the teams there. Obviously, got my friend Lewis obviously was on the podcast last week. He's a Charlotte fan, so I'd like Charlotte to do well, but I can't see them getting out the play-in. So with that said, I would like Brooklyn to win the East, just because that will mean the Boston Celtics will be getting knocked out in round one. I'm all for that. So, and then hopefully the Miami Heat will be going fishing very soon after, and that'll get rid of the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Heat. And then I am happy, whoever wins.
Yeah, those teams are garbage, man. I'm there with you there, buddy. I like to see Vucevic play well, because he deserves it, man. I want to see him do well in the playoffs because he deserves to go as far as he can because that's a class guy right there, man. I was so sad when we got rid of traded him. Oh, that morning of the trade deadline was like, I didn't think they're gonna pull the trigger on him, man. I was like, oh, it's just hit me in my heart, man. This arrow came down and just stabbed me, man. I was like, it was hard. It was hard to see him go.
Yeah,
and he was
that's where I am.
Too.
I'd like to see Chicago do well.
He was sad to leave too, man.
Yeah, but that's where I am. I'd like to see Chicago do well. Just on Vooch, and out the West, I'd actually like to see Phoenix get back there. I've always liked. I think Elfrid is a nice guy. Underrated as far as what he did with us a little bit. Still up there in some of our all-time lists. So hey, I'll be happy to see Phoenix and Chicago do quite well.
Yeah, Phoenix.
Mikey, what about you?
I would like.
I was saying Phoenix has our player that we should have drafted, Devin Booker. He thought he was coming to Orlando. He had 2 interviews with Orlando. They didn't pick him. Yeah.
Yeah. There goes. Such is life. Hey, Mikey, what about you, mate?
I would like to see Milwaukee repeat. That would be out of the East. I think it's either Milwaukee or the Nets. I don't think Miami are good enough to beat either of them in 7.
Me either.
I just don't see it. And overall, I would like to see Phoenix back, but I'm still pulling for Ja Morant. I want to see Ja Morant win it all this year because he's been superb. I can't believe this. I can't believe the stat where he's leading the league in points in the paint above players like Jokic, Embiid, Giannis. It's crazy. The guy's only 6'3", 90 pounds or something like that. For a guy to have that sort of size to do what he's doing is incredible. But
that kid's a beast. That kid's a beast.
I just think Phoenix probably have the edge though, just based on they've got the experience of already getting to the finals and having blown a two game lead in the finals last year. They probably learned from that, so it might give them a bit more edge this year.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Yeah. I agree on that one. I thought they were going to win last year when they had that lead.
Now, David, before we let you go, because I know you've got to get back to work, man. Want to ask you one question about this season. So, which something that I'm going to ask Mikey and Garant in a bit. Who's your Magic MVP for this season? Who do you think? Give us your top 3, man.
Yeah. I know you guys. You said that thing for me for the top 3. My top 3 would probably be Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., and Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, I would say, was our MVP for the first half of the season. That first 25 games, he was averaging almost 20 a game. He was leading the offense, and he was getting rebounds, shooting awesome from the 3 and from the mid range, and he was our guy for that first 20 something, it was 25 games or so. And then that middle half was Wagner when he won Rookie of the Year. He should win Rookie of the Year. He should win the Rookie of the Month for December. And that was showing everyone that kid was sorely overlooked by all the draft analysts. And when we picked him in that draft, everyone was like, at the draft party, like, And that guy, Orlando loves that guy now. That guy is a beast. He can shoot, he can pass, he can rebound. He makes all the right cuts. He's a dunk machine. And then Wendell Carter Jr. right after he won Rookie of the Month, and then Wendell Carter Jr. really started showing everyone why he was so sorely high picked, from out of Duke. And I think he's now showing, the Bulls that they made a mistake getting rid of him and giving up on him because that guy can shoot, play awesome defense, rebound. Yeah, shooting great from the 3, and he's going to be. I'm glad that we signed him up for that 4-year extension. He's worth all the money we're giving him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Chicago.
Thanks, Chicago.
Chicago did great. We got Wendell and we got Franz from him from that pick.
And we've still got another pick to come from that trade.
I know. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Hey, absolutely. And one other thing, man. One other thing I really want to ask you. We've spoke about it on the pod previously. Whereabouts are you on Jamal Mosley on his first season? How do you think the coach has done?
I think he did a good job, best he could with a young team. He's young himself. He's a rookie head coach. And I think he'll be a really good coach. And hopefully it's with us for the foreseeable future. But if not, I think he'll be a great coach for a long time in the NBA, whether with us or another team. Because he definitely got better midway through the season of getting his rotations down and what he needed to do to win and getting this team motivated to keeping them checked in. Because if we would have done this whole season with Clifford, it would have been dreadful season, to deal with even more so than it already was, because he was just all about, he didn't want to be here. So I'm just glad we had somebody who wanted to be here to teach our young players, and he taught them really well. We had a lot of growth this year in our players, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But I want to say thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate your time. It's been fantastic having you on. You've been somebody we've wanted to get on for a while. Whereabouts do people find you on your socials? Where's your socials at, mate?
Well, I just created the new one for the page, which is Orlando Magic for Life 89. 89 for the year with the Magic came to the league. There's not much on there right now because I only put like 3 posts. I started like yesterday or the day before. So you can do that one. And then you have the Orlando Magic for Life Facebook page. That's pretty much it. I'm thinking about maybe starting a YouTube page as well with the Orlando Magic for Life moniker on it as well. Try to do what you guys do like, snippets of a podcast. I know it's not easy. You guys make it look easy. I don't know. You guys drink. You guys are drinking.
That's all Mikey. That's Mikey.
Mate, we're just winging it. That's all we're doing.
All we do is talk rubbish for an hour and a half, and that's it.
One of the best pods one of my favorite pods you guys did was the super pod you guys did with the 6-man show. That's my other favorite podcast to watch. You guys killed it in that super pod. That was a whole lot of fun. A real lot of fun. We enjoy that. Anytime that we can get together with guys who share that passion, then we're happy, because that's what we want to do. It's why it's not always trying to get, we've had Darryl Armstrong and all these other people, but it's why we enjoy talking to the fans as well. Which is why we enjoy getting people on, because it's hearing their stories and finding out about people, and it gets everybody together. It's a community, and that's what we want. Man, it's awesome, and I really appreciate you guys having me on, and the fact that you said that you've been trying to get me on, which I was like floored when you Facebook messaged me saying that you wanted me on the show. I'm like, what? You want me on the show? Me? What am I doing to deserve that? That love from you guys. I don't know, but I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. David, once again, thanks for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Now we're going to get into the season review. I know we've just touched on a few bits there with David, so we'll start, I think, with our prediction game that we have. Mike, 2 seasons running, Champione.
No, G won it last year. I thought you won it last year. No. No. I apologise then. I genuinely thought
that's all right.
that Mikey had won it last year.
No, I'm not.
I didn't realise that you were the defending champion, G. I apologise, mate. I apologise. I'll correct myself there. But what I can say is that for the second year running, oh yes, Captain Wooden Spoon here. Captain Wooden Spoon. I'll bring it up on. Proves yet again he knows nothing about basketball or predicting. I think my problem is I get over confident and I get over optimistic about how we're going to do. Whereas you two keep going, 1 and 3. I'm there. Yeah, we're taking 4-0 this week. The pessimism has paid off this year. That's what I'm saying. Can you remember what you got? Can you remember what we predicted at the start of the season? I'd have to watch back. I think I said 25 at the start of the season. I want to say I said 25 wins without looking back. Can you remember? I want to say I said 22, but I know I didn't. I would have said. I think I'd have said more, Mikey.
I think I'd have said about 26, 28.
I want to say we did
above that.
There was an article or something where we were like, there was an over under of 25, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And I think I went.
I seem to think I was around the 30 mark. I don't know what drugs I've been taking that day, but clearly I haven't been something good.
Well, we were expecting Markel back possibly for season opener, weren't we? So, we weren't to know all of this.
Well, that was
JI
wrong.
at some point.
We were certainly expecting JI back at some point.
Exactly.
Hey. But can I just say, in an effort to not win next year's Wooden Spoon, we are having Gary and Connell make their contributions weekly on the predictions. So as I've just got somebody else to go against, because I think 1 in 3, I've got every chance to keep coming bottom, but I want to hand the Wooden Spoon on to somebody else next year. That's the goal. That's the goal, man.
We'll get it engraved, Paul. We'll get it engraved with your name again.
I look forward to it. It will hang on the wall proudly somewhere. It will hang on the wall. Right. Our season record then for the Magic: 22 wins, 60 losses. Not good. 12 wins at home, 29 losses, 10 on the road, 31 losses. I'm not going to pretend that it's good. I'm not going to pretend that I'm happy about that. But what I am going to say is I'm also not over disappointed by it. I think that the record is, it reads worse than it actually is. We were in a lot of close games with a lot of issues around youth and injuries, people learning the game. And I think that we've got a hell of a position to build from. Mikey, what about you? Are you disappointed at the season? I know it's been a long, hard one.
I'm definitely disappointed. We all wanted more from the year. I know, like we talked about our predictions and what we thought at the start of the season, but again, injuries had a large part of that, and players probably sitting out a little bit longer than they probably would have if we were competing for a playoff spot. That obviously played a part. It is what we kind of expected. I feel like it was a success in terms of it was about player development. I think we've seen that with a lot of players this year. We've seen, we'll go into it in a minute, but we've seen Franz consistent all season. Wendell's got better as the year's gone on. Cole, again, at the start of the season, the first half of the season, was showing flashes of what his ceiling potentially looks like. Markel coming back at the end of the season, and now he's got a full summer to get himself up to speed. So next season he can hit the ground running. There's loads of positives to take away from it if you don't look at the win-loss column.
Yeah.
And when you think that we had a historically bad schedule in terms of playing so many games on the road in the first half of the season, we had that stacked against us. And you've got a first-year head coach. I mean, there's loads to look at. Of course you're disappointed. 22 wins isn't what we all want to see. Hopefully we can build on that and improve on that next season. But hey, hopefully this is rock bottom and we can build from here.
I think also you've got it, and I know I'm going to ask you something about this in a minute, G. But you look at December, where we got player upon player out. We've got bringing in G League players. I think Lakeland have posted or tweeted out about this record number of their players that have been involved in the NBA this season. G, December, do you think that was the sort of thing, those injuries and COVID, the guys out on protocols, do you think that hurt us badly in that period?
It did. But, and Mikey just mentioned it, disappointing. Everybody wants more wins, but it was all about evaluating, seeing what we've got on deck, letting everyone have an opportunity, be it players on the roster, be it people on the Lakeland team in the G League coming through, seeing, what we've said many a time is, throw it all at the wall and see what sticks. So obviously, Franz Wagner is a massive plus. Wendell Carter has shown he really does belong in the starting lineup. And then you've unearthed like Kennedy's only played a couple of games later on, but we already want to see him back next season. So it was all about evaluating, even seeing how Coach Mosley would do, because obviously he's been thrown in the deep end. He's never been a head coach before. So all about evaluation is probably the key word for the season for me. We didn't get that many blowout losses in that, we were down by 30 and you switched the television off. So in that respect, you've got to consider it a success. People are coming along, they're learning to play together. And like the guys all said after yesterday's game, sky's the limit. They're all very good. You put them all together, all healthy for 82 games. And I was speaking to Mikey a little bit earlier, and he was saying that, what can we expect next year in terms of wins? I'd be very disappointed if we won less than 30 next year. Very disappointed. So I'm expecting it to get better. Throw in the fact you've got potentially a top 3, if not, it'll be top 5 or 6 rookie. We were never going to win it this year. So we evaluate, it's best to get another stab at getting another star in the draft. And you put that new person along with Suggs, with Wagner, with Fultz, with Isaac. And, you just need somebody to shine a little bit brighter, become that star. So it's about getting out of of the dark and into the light sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I know that we'll be doing a pods at various points that they're going to be focusing on the future. There's a lot to talk about there. There's a huge amount to talk about. You could go on forever and a day about it at this minute in time. But I want to build on what we've just been talking about, where we've been talking about evaluating players and whatever. I know I asked David this, and I said I was going to come to you guys about yours as well. Your MVP race for the Magic for the season. So who would you have as our most valuable player, and who were your 2 also Rams? G, have you go. You can go first, mate.
Man.
It's difficult. It's actually harder to do.
It is.
Think about
it is because are we looking at it as a full season or the portion that said player played? Because if you're looking at the games somebody participated in, it's my guy. It's the GOAT. It's Markel. He came in and he's put up outstanding numbers. He's been very consistent. He's gotten his teammates involved. He's been able to finish at the rim. So for me, he's our best player. He head and shoulders our best player. But obviously, if you're looking at the season perspective, I think we're all going to be about the same on this. So I'm just throwing that out there. I think Franz Wagner, did we expect him to be scoring 15.2 points a game, which is, good for, I had a look at this, 84th in the league in terms of scoring. If you'd said that at the beginning of the season, we'd have, bitten your hand off. And I'm sure Mikey's going to touch upon Wendell Carter. He's a massive Wendell guy. He's proved his worth in getting that contract extension. So for me, they're the 3 that stand out. But Mo Wagner has come in limited minutes in part. Chumo Kiki's turned the corner to be a very valuable, tweener kind of player. So Markel, just because of what he did in the games he played, but overall the season, I think Franz has had the best season out of anybody. So kind of a 2-way answer.
Mikey, your take?
If we're looking at the MVP, who's the best player on this team is Markel. I agree with G. But I think if you're looking at a season whole, Franz has just been consistent from the get-go. I mean, it's quite funny when you think back to Summer League. We were watching Franz's Summer League and you're thinking, yeah, I know Dan Savage has come on the podcast and Josh Cohen's come on the podcast, and they're like, just sit and wait and watch this guy. And then you watch him in Summer League and you're like, yeah, he's just not standing out as somebody who a lot of people are hyping up to be this guy that's really good, a really good all-around player. He's good on anyway. First game of the season, it's like it's a completely different player to what you watched in Summer League. and he's just taken just one game after another. He was getting better and better. I think the real coming out party was when we beat Minnesota on the road, and he had that big dunk over Karl Anthony Towns and one of the other T-Wolves players. The bench erupted. Everybody went mad. I think that's when everybody sort of took a step back and thought, hello, we've got something here. And then I think it was at December, he was rookie of the month, and and then month after month, he got better and better. He's hit a couple of walls he's going to as a rookie. But I think consistently for a guy that nearly played all 82 games, bar a couple of injuries and niggles in the last few games of the season, Franz for me has been our MVP this year. He's been solid all the way around. Top three, Wendell's in there. The guy, I just love the guy. I love the way he plays. I love how hard he plays. He's already come out and said he wants to find some Horace Grant goggles to play in next year, which would be awesome. He's just a workhorse. People bounce off of him. He fights for rebounds. His threes improved this season. And we watched it. It was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and on the broadcast on Bally Sports, and they had him mic'd up, and he didn't really say anything during the game. It was just constant growling and just driving into people and bullying people in the paint, which I love. And he reminds me a little bit of Horace with that physicality that he plays with as well. So Wendell's been great. He's got better as the season's gone on. I still find it a little bit of a laugh that people go, oh, well, the Bulls made the wrong move. Look, the Bulls still wouldn't be where they are if Vooch wasn't traded to that team, because DeMar DeRozan wouldn't be a Bull right now, and nor would Lonzo Ball. That team wouldn't be what they are without Vooch being the first moving piece. So that's the first part. But we got a really nice piece back in Wendell. I don't know what you guys think. Question for you. Do you see him as the 4? Do you see him as the 5? Do you think it depends on who we draft? Because for me, he's a 5. Yeah, he's a bit undersized, but he plays like a big man anyway. And you see players like Draymond Green, who's undersized. If we could develop him into somebody that can make passes a little bit like Draymond does and facilitate. He's already spreading the floor with his 3-point shooting as well. I just think Wendell's got such a ceiling on him that we all, and I'm gonna call him out. And I always remember back to the deadline last year when we traded Vooch, and I rang Geraint, and he's like, all we got was Wendell Carter Jr. Do you remember kicking off about this? we had a laugh about this, and then this season, I mean, he's just gone on to prove how much untapped potential he had playing for the Bulls, and he obviously needed a change of scenery. But for me, Franz Wendell, top 2, no problem. The third one's tough because Fultz has been massive since he's come back in the team. It's even in limited playing time, you can see what an influence he's having on the team. But I'm going to go with Cole because he was a big part in the first half of the season. He was playing really, really well. He had some big games. He's a big character on this team. And I feel like everyone's got a bit of a short-term memory. He's not finished the season as well as he started. But he's still been a big part of this team in helping competing on a night-to-night basis. And I think it would be a bit of it would be a bit harsh to not include Cole for me. So the fact that Markel's only played 10 games, I'm going to go with Cole was the third in my top 3.
Well, I've got the same top 3 as you, Mikey.
Okay.
I've got the same top 3. But I had the same sort of, do I go with Markel because of the impact he's made, which has been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And I also think that I know we'll talk about him in future pods. I know we will. But I'm going to say this, I'm not too worried about people talking about his shot still. I'm not too worried about his distance shooting. If he doesn't develop one properly, fine, so be it. It's never hurt Chris Paul. It's never hurt Rajon Rondo that they haven't got that. Markel is incredibly intelligent. He knows his spots to get to shoot. A brilliant ability to drive at the basket. He's so effective at reversing the ball after driving at the basket. And his court vision is just incredible. If we could shoot better, his assist figures would be through the roof. He's just come back in and excited every single one of us. No arguments. But yeah, I've got Franz as the MVP. He does everything, doesn't he? Huge basketball intelligence. He gets the thing that's changed as well is he now gets the best defender on the opposition every game.
Yeah.
Every game, which is where I think he hit the couple of walls, like you said, Mikey. He definitely hit a couple of walls. Be nice to see him improve that 3-point shot. But hey, rookie season, incredible. Absolutely incredible performances. I went for Wendell as the runner-up. You've covered everything there. Screens, brilliant rebounding, scoring has been in every possible way. Again, it'd be nice to see if he improved on the 3-point shooting because it will help space the floor, and I think it would get him more opportunities inside. And I guess if you could take a few more charges or a couple extra blocks, that'd be nice. But the guy has just developed to such an incredible level this season. Love what he's done. But I'm going to go with Cole as the third option. You can't ignore that he's finished the season as our points per game top scorer. He's been taking field goal attempts. He's finished the season as the top assist guy per game. Markel closed up on that one, but he has finished at that. So I think you've got to acknowledge what he did earlier in the season. We're in a great position going forward. Now, looking at season, some of the guys that we forgot, where do you feel they are? Has their stock gone up this season? Is it in the same position? Is it holding, or has it gone down? So, Mikey, I'll come to you first. You've already mentioned Cole as your third in the MVP, but I'm going to ask you about Cole. Has his stock gone up? Has it gone down, or what? Where are you with him?
I would say it's probably around the same. It might have crept up a little bit, just based on the fact that he started off the season so hot. He was scoring the ball so well, and he was having such a big. He was such a big player for us, and then I think we got to like the All-Star break, and he really started to cool off, and really ever since the All-Star game, he's not been the same player. He's lacked. I don't know if he's lacked the confidence. The ball's just not going down for him, and that's a big part. He's a streaky shooter. When it goes down and he gets hot, he's a bit like Terrence Ross. Once he gets going, watch out. But I just feel like maybe the second half of the season has probably dampened his value a little bit. But I think what we saw in the first half of the season with some of the big games that he's had, we've still seen those flashes of what he can be down the road. Again, it's like every young player, it's the consistency that we want to see from them more than anything. But I don't want Cole Anthony going anywhere. We want him in Orlando. He's an important player. Look, and I think we'll forget at the start of the season, we were talking about this kid being our next all-star player on this roster at one point. He was playing that well. And then all of a sudden, everyone's sort of going, oh, well, Cole Anthony, now he's looking like a backup point guard all of a sudden. Well, there's got to be something in between that. Is he a starter?
It's the injury, isn't it? It's the injury that he has. And I don't think he's fully healed from that. So
yeah, I agree.
That's what I put it down to. Give him an off season now to get back and ready. He'll be back to being the Cole Anthony that we know.
Yeah,
I'm
with you.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's talking about Cole as potentially the new sixth man for our team, but we'll have a quick talk about the current sixth man for our team, Terence Ross. I think his stock has actually dropped back ever so slightly this season. That's no criticism of a lot of the performances, but of recent, he's had some really poor performances. And I think it's actually hurt his value a little bit. That being said, he's still come on and produced some fantastic points for us this season. I think he's finished quite high up as far as the 3 points side of things still go. He's still averaged 10 points a game this season. So yeah, he's dropped back a bit, but overall, I think he's hurt his stock a little bit. But if we choose to move him on, I think we can still get something useful back for him, be it in a package with whatever pick or whatever else you want to look at. Again, that's a discussion for a future time. But if he remains, he'll still be a good shooter for us. No arguments.
I think the only thing that probably dampens his value is just the fact that he's going into his last year of his contract, although it's a little bit cheaper than it was this year. T. Ross he's 31. He's not getting any younger. He's in the last year of his deal. You can argue that we probably would have got more for him had we have moved him at the deadline than we will in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it.
Absolutely.
That's all it comes down to. And
that's all. That's it.
I mean,
I agree, mate.
I'd like to see him back next year, personally. I'm not sure he necessarily wants to be here, but I think him, Gary Harris, and Rolo have been three good vets in this young group. And
you have to have a veteran presence.
Yeah.
You have to have a veteran presence. Now, you've just touched on somebody there. I'm going to ask you about Gary Harris. Where are you on him? Up, level, down?
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because at the beginning of the season, you just wanted to come in and be that vet, be in the guy's ears. But he really surprised me how he played. I wasn't expecting him to be so good. Given that he's on some 20 million per season, I don't think he's a 20 million per season player. I'd probably put him in the bracket of 15 or so, perhaps. So I think he's probably in and around where he was in terms of grading him, in terms of this stock. Would I like to see him back? Yes, I would. Because I don't think there's any big fish in the free agent market. So I'd be happy to throw a larger contract at him to keep him for the first season and see what else we can do. Mike and I were speaking about this earlier. Mikey thinks Harris is the best shooting guard on the team. And if you put Markelle Fultz on the as the starting point guard, you have Gary Harris as the wing. Markel's going to find Gary, and his shooting was exceptional, especially from the corners this season. So, you've already got that quality two guard. Okay, he's not a superstar, but, superstars are few and far between. So I'd say he's held up in his value. And would I like to see him back? Yes, I would.
Again, you look at it, he's been averaging just under 39% from 3 points per game this season, and he's averaged 11.1 points per game.
And you've got to think a lot of that is without Markelle on the floor, because a lot of his playing time was not in the last 10. So he's going to get better looks when he's getting ball distribution off Markelle. So I think he'll only get better. We know he can shoot the ball. So I'd like to see Gary Harris return.
I thought it was a bit controversial when I said that to G earlier, but you agreed with me, and I just think I don't think it's the right move that you start Gary Harris at the 2 next year necessarily. But I think if we wanted to actually really compete next year, Fultz and Gary Harris is a better backcourt than maybe plugging Suggs or Cole Anthony in next to Fultz, which probably is a little bit more unbalanced, should we say. And Gary Harris is 27. He's having one of his better years that he's had in the last 3-4 years. I just feel that would give us a better balance.
I would like to see Gary back.
Yeah.
And just on what you said there about him coming into the starting unit, once we had to change the starting lineup and Gary came into that, he fitted in, and that starting unit was still really, really efficient early in the season with him there. So I've got no problem on the guy.
And just to add to that, if you've got Jalen and Cole coming off the bench, then you've got Jalen as, a bit of a defensive stopper, somebody who likes to slash and get to the hoop, and you've still got the shooting of Cole Anthony. So you've got a very good backcourt coming off the bench there. So a lot of options to play with, yeah.
And one last point for me that I forgot to say that I said to G earlier was, if you start at Gary Harris, you're then also not putting as much pressure on Suggs and Cole Anthony to have to develop so quickly. They're having to compete with Gary Harris for minutes and that starting spot, which is good. You want that competition, which is something we lacked during Rob Hennigan's early years, when young players were just given the keys and just given playing time. I think that's important. And I just feel Gary Harris will help us compete on a better level than maybe playing Suggs or Cole. But yeah, it's good competition. But whether he comes back is another question. I think money is going to play a big part into that.
So on the subject of player who's in competition for minutes potentially, and does he come back? G. Mo Bamba, same question. Up, down, level. Where are you?
It's still the great unknown with Mo Bamba, isn't it? We see flashes and then we see regression, don't we? He could play 12 minutes and pick up 4 fouls and score 2 points, or he could come in and hit 6 3-pointers and get 6 blocks in a game. Shaq said it on NBA and TNT. I think he was speaking to Cole Anthony at the All-Star game, saying, like, keep on to Mo. He's got it. So in terms of where he is with his stock, I believe it's probably still about the same. We still probably don't know what he can become. You just want to see that motor, don't you? In that he can bring it every night. Flashes are good, but we saw flashes with Aaron Gordon, and how frustrating was that? So again, I'd like to bring Mo Bamba back, but I'd bring him off the bench, and he would be competing with lesser players. But his length, his ability to finish around the rim on lobs, is a vital asset. So definitely somebody I'd like to keep around, at the right price.
I think we bring Mo back, and I've not been his greatest fan, as you know. I think over the last few weeks, he's been such a strong player. He's been producing double after double, and his 3-point shooting is such a weapon to have. It really is so reliable.
Something to add to that. Something he said after, I think it was the Cleveland game. He was interviewed by Dante, and he, I think they got shown the practice facility that's just opened across the road downtown. He likes what we're building here, and he's excited for the future. So he was saying the right things. So hopefully he does hang around.
Yeah. And speaking of somebody who's been shooting the ball well, RJ, Mikey, where are you?
I think his stock's gone up.
I do.
A little bit. I still see RJ as probably a role player of either on this team or another team at some point. But yeah, I feel like he's had his ups and downs. I think he got off to a slow start. He certainly picked it up over the last, probably since the All-Star break. Certainly since he's been given more minutes and more playing time, and he's had a more regular time in the rotation. I like RJ. He plays with good energy. He's got that explosiveness. He can get to the hoop. His 3-point shooting is starting to develop. I think we always thought he was going to be a bit of a project, and he still is. He's still got a lot to work on this summer. But no, I like RJ. I think he's another player. I think we could say I don't think there's one young player on this roster that none of us really dislike. I think they're all really good guys. They all seem to pull for one another. They all want each other to do well. And I think RJ's in that group too. So yeah, for me, RJ's stock's gone up a little bit. I think he's got next year again to show what he can do. But I think next year is going to be more difficult with Markel coming back now. Is he going to get the opportunities to play that he's had this season? I'm not sure.
I agree. And then finally, on this section, Chuma. He's one of these that we've discussed all season. I think he's starting to find his feet. His defensive ability is fantastic. His 3-point shooting is really starting to come. And that has been, I think, a lot of benefit from playing minutes with Markel. So for me, I think that Chuma is one of these that his stock has actually gone up. More so over the latter weeks of the season. I think he's really started to find his feet. But we discussed this before, didn't we? Where no summer, no preseason. He had to hit the ground and find his feet once teams were already sort of, what was it, about 10 games in, I think, before he actually started playing. It wasn't an early part of the season.
He wasn't ready, was he? No.
So I think he's had to develop into the season and grow into the season. He's been a few weeks behind everybody else. The Sims All-Star, the guy's played really well, and I think he's increased his stock. I really do. So aside from the return of Markel, obviously, and the season that Franz has produced, Mikey, what's been your standout moment of the season, your highlight? I don't care whether it's a player, a win, or a particular moment within a game. What's been your highlight?
And not meltdowns. I would say I was looking back through, because it's a long season. I think early on in the season we had the old bing bong, the win over the Knicks in the Garden. That was a good fun game. I actually thought probably the game that maybe epitomised the way this team's played pretty consistently this season was coming back to beat Utah earlier on in the season. I think it was an early sign of how...
I can't believe this.
Well, have you got the same thing, have you?
I've got... You're talking about the 107 first home win of the season.
Yeah.
Down
10...
7th of November. That's the one I've gone for.
Yeah, down 10 points, come back to win the game against a really good team. And we've done this throughout the season. Like this team does not give up. And I think this was one of our first early sightings into... I don't think we expected it throughout the season, but this was the first game where we were like, well, don't count us out. Even we might be down double digits in this game. But no, for me, you're playing one of the best teams in the West. You're at home, you're young. Teams aren't expecting you to come back and fight the way we did in this game. Again, it's just one of a number of games. And the other one I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the MVPs and top three was the win over Minnesota and the Franz Wagner dunk for me. But yeah, the Utah game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the one I went for. It's also the game where Cole went for 33 and heard it from the Amway. It was great to hear the Amway cheering and supporting the team in the way they did. Cole was getting MVP chants. It was great to hear, and that was one of the things that was why I went for it. I just think I was such a highlight of the season.
I was just reading the notes to see that was what you actually put, and I genuinely hadn't even read that. But there we go.
Right. So
I agree with you.
G, well, come on.
It's just funny that
something different.
I am, but Mikey's just mentioned it, so he's kind of took my thunder a little. I know. It's the game at Magical Square Garden on October 25th when Cole had his sister and his mum in the first row when he scored 29 points, 16 rebounds for a guard, 8 assists, and I think he had 5 personal fouls. And the New York faithful should have been chanting MVP for Cole Anthony that day when we beat the Knicks. Terence Ross also scored 22 points all in the fourth quarter in that game, I do believe. So that, for me, epitomised the team in that they don't give up. And, it was probably the win that brought the biggest smile to your face in the way that we played. Obviously, you guys have touched upon wins. We beat Denver at home, Utah at home, Minnesota at home. A couple of nice wins on the road. Again, Minnesota. Can we just play them all the time? That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, mate. We've had a good record against them recently.
The win over Chicago as well.
Chicago. Even last night's win against Miami, just because it's Miami, I know it was, it wasn't the full roster out there, but it just brings a smile to your face when you beat any of those. So I'll go with that Knicks one, that Knicks game, the Bing Bong game.
In the same vein, I think you could put the win against Cleveland at the that we've just had a couple of games back, because of the way that they put the win together. 8 players making double-figure scoring. A whole lot of assists. We moved the ball well. It was built on some nice defense. So those sorts of things. I know that they've been very few and far between this season, but when we've got them, you've got to cherish them, I think. And but yeah, that's the reason I went for the Utah one, because it was just it gave a view of what we can be and where we hope that this can go. But hey, definitely. So fancy a bit of trivia, boys?
I want them. Bring it on.
Let's do it. Now, this season, we've used 22 players. I'm not going to ask you to name all 22. That's not what we're doing. But I'm going to ask you a few stats around who's done what. See if you can pick it up. So, we all know that Franz led the way, playing 79 games. Do you know who played the second most games?
Well, it wasn't Robin Lopez. I'm going to guess Wendell. No, he's missed quite a few games, actually, Wendell.
Yeah, I know. Yes, isn't he? I'm going to say Chuma Okeke.
It's actually Mo Bamba. He's played 71 games this season.
Fair play, Mo.
I was surprised at that. That's why I put it out. Really? But yeah, he's played 71 games. 2 players have started every game that they were available for. So one is obviously Franz. Do you know who the other one is who's played every game that he was available for as a starter?
Oh, Cole.
Well, yeah. He's played 65 games in the season. He's started them all. And we now have 4 players who have made no starts.
4 players have made no starts.
4 players made no starts.
Devin Kennedy.
Correct.
Brazdeikis?
No, he started.
He started,
didn't he?
Michael Mulder.
No, he started.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely started.
Well, that might have been a trick one.
Oh my gosh. Didn't start.
Yeah, made no starts. 6 man.
Terence
Ross.
Yeah. Made no starts. I was quite surprised. I genuinely thought they'd made 1 or 2 at various points in the season. The other 2 have been they've not made many appearances for the team altogether at all. One was a point guard.
Oh, that
Who's
was. Oh yeah, I know. So Schofield's one and
Schofield.
Gravit's the other.
No, Schofield started, and so did Hassani. He started as well.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah,
Johnson.
Hassani.
He did.
Who are you
all,
saying,
yeah.
G? BJ Johnson?
Yes.
Correct. That's one of them. Do you know what? I'm sorry, I've miscounted. There's another player besides. There's 5 who made no start.
Oh, Paul.
Sorry, mate.
I'm pretty sure Robin Lopez started 1 or 2
He has.
when
One of
COVID
them
was a problem.
It's all the COVID time. One is a point guard.
Oh,
He's played 3 teams this season, and he
that
wore
a
number
lead
11
forward?
for us. That's one of them. He did wear number 11. He's only
What's
been with one.
what's the one that played for the Warriors who hit the game winner against Boston in the last regular preseason game? Is that the guy?
Jeff Downton.
Yeah,
That's
is it him?
the guy.
There you go.
Well done, boys. Well done. Nicely done. Best
Nice.
field goal percentage of the season per game. Standing at 52.5%.
I'm going to go.
It's got to be Wendell.
It is Wendell. It is. Just shows how valuable he is to the team. Now, give you another couple.
I know.
Most 3-point shots made per game and most 3-point shots attempted per game. It's the same player.
That's got to be Cole. Got to be.
Is it
It's
not?
not Cole.
No. Bear in mind, it's per game. It's not across the season. It's not the number of shots made.
So
It's not the number of...
that'd be either Gary Harris or Terence Ross. Gary Harris.
Terence Ross.
No, you
They're not.
need
No.
to think somebody who's far, far more recent coming to the team.
Oh, that's going to be Kennedy.
Schumer.
It is Devin
is it
Kennedy. Yeah. He's
Nice.
made 3-3-pointers per game on 7.4 attempts per game. Not a bad return. Not a bad return for him. Now, I like this one. 2 players made every free throw that they took for them in the Magic uniform this season. 2 players did it.
Gosh.
Well, they couldn't have played very often then.
Well,
Absolutely.
Michael Mulder.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Bob on.
And Jeff Doughton.
Good boys. Like it. Well done. Well done. So there you go. I thought we'd just have a bit of fun with that.
Yeah, that's quality.
We could have gone on. I've got loads more, but I'm not going to go for hours.
I was going to say, we'd only have 22 answers by the time you got through them all.
No, we're not going anymore, mate. There were loads. I thought it was quite good. Right. As always, want to thank Mikey and G for joining us. David, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're at the season end, and Mikey, Grant, and I, Connell, and Gary all just want to say to every single one of you who watch, subscribe, listen, who interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, whatever way you get in touch with us. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure doing what we do and having the relationships that we do with you all. And thank you, because without you, we're just talking amongst ourselves. I mean, that's effectively what we do anyway. We just sit and record it. This is what we do most days. But having you guys along for the ride makes it so much more fun. And we want to say thank you very much. We will keep the content coming during the summer. The website will have new articles. G, you're going to be updating Magic Moments, the leaderboard for that. There's a lot of stuff to come during the summer. There's a lot to talk about, so we will still be here. Please subscribe to the podcast, hit the notification button so as not to miss future episodes. Make sure to visit the website, orlandomagicuk.com. Follow us Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I think Connell's got a few bits that he's going to be putting up from his trip. All those can be found at Orlando Magic UK. The links will be all on the podcast. To everybody, again, let's say just thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure doing what we do. So until the next pod, from Mikey, around to myself, and until next time, go Magic.